back. This is Dr. D from ABA with Dr. D, where we share ABA with you. We're so excited. We're close to 2,000 subscribers. Can you believe that? 2,000 subscribers. We're getting a lot of love, a lot of great support from the community. I really appreciate that. This is definitely a project, once again, to contribute something for the field, to leave something for people. I know that sometimes we're looking for resources. We're looking for different things we can incorporate into our day-to-day practice. So this channel's for that. This channel's for you. So today we're going to cover a really important topic, which is probing. And the question here is, what the heck is probing? Okay, so we're going to talk about that, and it's a really important component or part of our skill acquisition. It is actually something that occurs prior to our skill acquisition, and also something that occurs after we've quote-unquote master or met criteria for some skill acquisition. So in the maintenance phase of our programs. So I'm going to cover a couple bullet points with you as we kind of go through this question here. So here it says, occurs before introduction of a skill building program or during maintenance phase. Okay, so it can occur either right before we introduce the program or during that maintenance phase. It measures the current levels are responding prior to any skill acquisition method implementation, and to also evaluate the maintenance of skills. So basically what's going to happen is, prior to us introducing, for example, colors, we're going to go through the list of colors. We're going to look, ask the question, what color, and assess which are the colors that the individual can respond to. Okay. And what this allows us to do, it helps us to reduce the time that we would otherwise take introducing things that the client already knows, that the individual already knows. So this is a very important, part of our skill acquisition building, and it makes our programming a lot more efficient. Okay, and that's basically what the next bullet points are saying here, that in vivo probing allows the behavior team to identify the current levels of responding for the individual. Also, it helps make skill building programs more efficient by not targeting items that are already in the individual's repertoire. Also, probing can be completed by a behavior technician or a supervisor. At the end of the day, it's who is trained to do that, but it could be done by either person. Probing is also part of our baseline phase when we are running skill assessments such as VBMAP, AFOs, ABLES, etc. So this is really important. Probing is a really important part of our skill building. Okay, here's a couple more bullet points. During probing, no feedback or correction is delivered, especially when we're doing it prior to introducing a target. We're going to see a couple videos soon where you're going to see that the individual's literally just going to the different targets and not really providing feedback if there's an incorrect response. It is best to present the same probe trial several times during the session to ensure you have several data points to analyze and make decisions. So, definitely try to do probe trials a couple of times. Sometimes individuals don't respond to your questions because they're not really attending to you. They're not focused. So it's a really good idea to try to test out the probes maybe across different points in your session. Okay. If you're just going to use one data point, we know as behavior analysts or people that are studying behavior that is probably not the best thing to do. We want to get a couple of data points prior to making that decision where something is truly met or not met. Okay. The next one here says targets are probed and data is taken once as either independent or prompted. So a target is considered independent only if the child responds accurately with no prompting within 2 seconds. Okay. The next one, if the child does not respond within 2 seconds, the response is prompted and data is recorded as such. Okay. If the child responds incorrectly, the correct response is taught and the target is recorded as prompted. Now, once again, I mentioned earlier that to me, at least specifically when I do the probing, I tend not to give feedback. I try to just basically document it on my data sheet and just basically move on to the next trial. So here they're just giving a suggestion. I really think that there's no good, a specific way of doing it. We shouldn't be too rigid about it. At the end of the day is, looking at the client scene or an individual scene, what's best for them. Okay, so I have no really, personal preferences on your side if you guys want to do it either way. Okay, now once again, there will be probing prior to mass trial, prior to incorporating skill acquisition. And what this is a form here is that something that I worked on with my team. We basically run 3 probes for each target that we're going to be working on. Here it says that during this phase, BTs will work on identifying targets that need to be introduced in the mass trial phase. So the BT will probe each target 3 times before moving them to mass trial phase. So it does not need to be moved to mass trial. So example, typing car and write NIN, so no need of introduction. I'm sure some of you have supervisors tell you, hey, like when there's something that doesn't need to be introduced, just write no need of introduction, or NIN. Okay, so it's something that, an acronym that we use in our field for some of our supervisors. But overall here, once again, the goal is to probe each target 3 times. So for the first example for car, which here would be, what is this? What would be the SD, and the individual says car, they identify correctly 3 consecutive times, then that's where you don't need to put it through a mass trial. Now, in the example where it would need to go to a mass trial is if there is some incorrect responding occurring during the probing phase. So here, for example, 2, you see 2 negatives and then a plus. So a probe 1 and probe 2, there were 2 minuses. And then for probe 3 trial was a plus. So that would absolutely indicate to me that this individual does need to work on this a bit more. Okay. Now, if you're like, okay, maybe I want to get some more trials, some more probes, you can absolutely do that. This is just a model, once again, that we've used. You don't need to use this. You're absolutely open to do more probe trials if you want to. If you want to collect 4, 5, 6, whatever amount of trials you want to do, at the end of the day, you're absolutely free to do that. Here's just an example, once again, of what you could do. But probing is really important, once again, because in example 1, for sure, it shows that this client meets it, right? They have the repertoire, they have the skill set to respond to car. For the example 2, that's where they really need this to go through a full skill acquisition process, which would next would be the mass trial, if you are doing that type of process. Also, the other thing that you can do too is for probing phase during maintenance. So when the individual has mastered or met criteria for these particular targets, it's a good idea to probe them. Okay, I put this particular document together, or this program together, where it says that when a client has met the master criteria with the target across mass trial and random rotation, then the target will be added to the maintenance sheet. So one maintenance sheet will be created for our programs. Once maintenance data shows consistent correct responding across 4 weeks, which will be 80% or above, the target will no longer be targeted and circle as discontinued. If target falls to 60% or below across probes, then the clinical team will need to reintroduce a target. The behavior technician will circle TA or teach again. If the target falls in the 60 to 80% level, it will be possible to keep in the maintenance phase, but will evaluate data across the first 2 weeks, so 6 trials, and a circle C to continue. If data shows a decrease or consistent responding at 60 to 70%, then move the target to skill acquisition phase and circle TA or target again. Once again, a model that we are using. It works very well with our students, but you're absolutely free to either use it, modify it. Once again, the goal here is to have some type of data during your maintenance phase, because sometimes people don't do that. I've seen some people make errors that they don't collect any maintenance data or probes. They don't do any probes. So here it allows you to at least have something to work with. Okay, so you're absolutely free, by the way, to use this particular model. This is something, once again, available for you. And once again, this is a criteria that we use. Okay. We're going to watch a video together so you guys can get an idea of how a probe trial looks like, across different type of programs, and we can kind of break it down as we, look at it together. So I'm going to put more volume here.
What color? Red.
Okay, so here the instruction is what color. You're going to see the behavior technician presenting, or the clinician presenting the trials, basically pretty quickly to record. And once again, there you see immediately recording data, which is really important, of course, for our programs.
What color?
Okay, so that's a minus. Okay.
What color?
Okay, minus. So right there, it's 3 trials. I think client got the first one correctly, so 1 for 3. Now, once again, if you are thinking, okay, maybe the client's just distracted, maybe I want to test it out a bit later, you can do that. Once again, absolutely, you're free to do that. You can run another maybe 3 trials in the next hour. You can do a couple more trials, in the next activity. Whatever activities you have or whatever sequence you have is really up to you. Once again, this is very much tailored for the individuals that you're working with. Now, I wanted to also emphasize that as you were seeing there, that the individual responded incorrectly to the trials, there's no feedback, no corrective feedback was presented, just moving on to the next trials, okay, which is very much the way that I do it, once again. And you don't have your opinion, you can absolutely do where you can prompt or correct, up to you. But here in this particular scenario, we're not really teaching, we're just assessing baseline for these particular skills.
What color?
So that's a plus. So you said yellow.
What color?
Another plus.
What color?
Yellow.
Awesome. So 3 for 3. So that situation, we have a target that more than likely won't need to be targeted
What color?
through mass trial and random rotation. So incorrect response.
What color?
Incorrect response.
What color?
Incorrect response. 0 for 3. Okay. This target would qualify for mass trial and going through this entire
What
sequence.
Blue.
Very good. So that's plus.
What color?
Blue.
Very good. So 2 for 2.
Edward. What color?
Blue.
3 for 3. Okay. Blue, absolutely ready to move on to, you want to put on the maintenance phase, etc. But
What color?
that's a negative.
What color?
Negative.
What color?
Negative. Okay. 0 for 3. You're documenting that. Okay.
What color?
Orange.
Okay. That's a plus.
What color?
Orange.
Plus.
What color?
Orange.
Plus. Okay. So 3 for 3.
What color is this? Red.
Red.
Good job.
Okay. So we're gonna skip this right here. That's more a skill acquisition there. But overall, the first part of the video for sure was all probing, which basically is your prototypical probing, how it looks like when you're doing assessments and when you're probing for baselines for tacting. We're gonna move on to the next one, which is echoics. It's another really good example here, so we'll take a look.
Hi, what's your name? Edward? Awesome. My name's Anthony. It's nice to meet you. Okay, so we're gonna start working, okay? Okay. Say ah.
Ah.
Plus,
Say wow.
Wow.
plus,
Say B.
B.
plus,
Say knee.
Knee.
plus,
Say ooh.
Ooh.
plus,
Say bye bye.
Bye bye.
plus,
Say hop.
Hop.
plus,
Say mom.
Mom.
plus,
Say papa.
Papa.
Say me.
Me.
So that was a phenomenal example there. Quick. When you do your probing, sometimes doesn't take very long. In this particular example, like I wouldn't even do 3 trials. In this situation, I would probably just go with 1 trial. Sometimes you get right away, okay, this student has the repertoire. Which, if you look at the VV map, there's that part where it says echoics. And yeah, that's a really good list there where you can kind of check off to see if the responses are occurring there when you're doing those probes. But this is a really good example there where the student, phenomenal echoic repertoire. So I would say just ready to move on to the next part of the program. Okay?
Hey Jessa, how are you today? Are you good? Okay, I'm going to ask you to do a couple of things for me, okay? Okay, Jessa, are you looking at me? Okay. Do this.
That's a plus.
Practice.
We're just going through a couple of things together. Okay? Alright, ready? Do this for me.
Plus.
I never use.
Okay, next one. Do this for me.
Plus.
Do this.
Plus.
More.
Plus.
Okay. Another thing. Just do this.
Okay, so you guys get the picture. Overall here, the student has really strong gross motor imitation repertoire, listening, responding, whatever you want to call this. But overall, the idea is that you're going through it, you're probing it, and it's good, it works. Also, it's a good way to build some momentum too. Get some of that confidence with the student to get some of these programs going early, and especially when you're doing skill assessment, it helps you build rapport. Basically, you see the student here is having a good time, he's laughing. So yeah, I mean, this is a video that allows you to get some idea what probing is. There might be other things that are a bit more technical of what probing could be, but this is a very straightforward concept. Once again, a concept that can be done, that should be done prior to skill acquisition phase, which is a mass trial, some people do expanded trial, a random rotation. That should be done prior to all of that, and also do it during the maintenance phase to ensure that the targets that we have mastered already or met criteria are maintained, right? We still keep practicing them. So I hope you like this video. Once again, courtesy of I Can Be, who's sponsoring this particular videos. Thank you so much, I Can Be, for helping us put this together for everyone. And I really appreciate, once again, everybody out there. We're putting more videos out. We're so excited. We're seeing some great feedback. I see more and more people subscribing to the channel. That just gives me more and more reinforcement, man. You guys are definitely like giving me more reasons to keep doing this. So I really appreciate that. I generally really love this field, and I share so much of a passion the same you guys do, to be able to create and have more content to help the world, and basically let the people know about our field, which is a phenomenal field that has so much to offer for human beings in general. So thank you so much. On behalf of Dr. D from ABA with Dr. D, take care now.